When life throws you a curveball, how are you going to handle adversity? Welcome to the Fearless Mindset Podcast, where you're about to go on a journey as I interview security, business, and entertainment leaders on what it takes to stay fearless. I'm your host, Mark Ledlow, and enjoy today's episode. Hello, everybody. This is the Fearless Mindset Podcast, and today we're going to mix it up a little bit. We're not going to have any bodyguards on today, but in a kind of a way, she is a bodyguard of her family and her kids and business, and she's a genius when it comes to branding. She speaks all over the world on world stages. She does TED Talks. But she being Katie. Welcome, Katie.
Thank you.
Here I'm talking to the third person. You're right here with us on the podcast.
It's all good.
And Katie is just killing it through adversity. When I say the fearless mindset on the show, she is the organic raw example of that based on some information just shared with me. And I'll let her share that on her own accord. But she is that fearless mindset through all that adversity she's going through right now with some domestic stuff and everything. She is smiling. We had some technical issues. I pulled the whole direct connection to the wire, to the router. I wasn't getting any communication with her, so this ain't going to work. You know what? I'm going to do a Marine thing. I just pulled the wires out. Oh, we got sound now. Okay. I had no idea what I'm doing, but now you can hear us talk.
We got it figured out.
We got it figured out. So I admire Katie, folks. If you're tuning in, listening to this podcast, she is a branding expert. She has major corporate brand names that back her and that she works with and training, adult training. She's got a master's degree. What's your master's degree in again?
Yeah, I have a master's in adult training and development.
Okay. I don't say anything.
We just learned so different. The case of shiny keys and squirrel is a real deal.
The real deal.
So when we're out training and if we want to actually see a shift and figure out how to do something different, we have to be willing to train differently.
And like you said, I listened to another podcast you have, but you explain so elegantly the science and behavior of how the male brain works versus the female brain works. And they're two biologically different chemistries completely. And I'm like, oh my God, this is deep.
Yeah. So when I wrote Custom Her Experience, I didn't want to just be a woman that came on the scene and said, oh my gosh, I am woman. Hear me roar. We're amazing. And you should pay attention to us. I knew that I was out to solve a problem in male dominated industries. And I knew it had to be backed by science. So I studied the physiological differences between men and women and why we buy versus why you buy. And there are some major physiological differences that make men are from Mars and women are from Venus.
I actually read that book when I was going through a breakup. I'm like, I can't understand why she's thinking, why did she talk to me? What did I do? And then I get close friends said, Mark, go read the book. Oh.
Now I understand.
Give them space. Give them space. They don't want space. They want space. But the genius part of you is, you know, the language from a company perspective and a professional perspective of what the woman's looking for. Like you said, they're at, what, $32 trillion of consumption buying in business or something like that?
43 now, $43 trillion annually. Like, we are the world economy.
That's a crazy number.
Right?
And that's a lot of influence.
It's huge. It's 3 to 4 generations of influence. So if you think about it, you have your kids and then they have their friends come over and you have a car parked in the driveway that your kids see every single day. And when they turn 16, 17, where do you think the first place they're going to look at a vehicle?
Mm-hmm.
Is the brand that's in your driveway. In terms of, there's a story. I was having a volleyball tournament with my daughter, and all the parents were having adult drinks while the kids were running around the hotels. And a mother piped up and said, my daughter asked me where I get my facial cream. And I was like, oh, what do you use? She's like, oil of Olay. And I said, well, what did your mom use? oil of Olay. So a woman influences from, like, if you look at that line, grandmother, mother, daughter, granddaughter, all using the exact same brands. I had a friend of mine who was at grocery shopping, and she was out with her son, and they went down an aisle, and the son said, "Stop." She's like, "What?" She's like, "That Katie buys that. Noah's mom buys that. Can we have it?" What made it into her cart was the same brand, the same item that I served her children at my house. So the influence is far greater than just the immediate nucleus, the immediate family. We influence 3 to 4 generations outside of our orbit.
Wow. That's mind blowing. And here's something that came to my mind, Katie. I'm thinking about how hard it is for so many people right now. This year, people are struggling with inflation. Grocery prices exploded. Cost of goods and services exploded. Inflation is killing the middle class, even in Canada, I'm sure. It's killing all of us. And people are going, how do I make it? How do I get through to this? How do I get that contract? How do I get that business? And so you are so critical in those conversations, your skill set and your get to the rope.
Yeah, I mean, if you focus on the customer experience with an elevated experience for the woman, you're going to win over your competition. People do business with people. That's always been the way. But right now with the World Wide Web, you can, in 30 seconds flat, put in what you need and like 50 different companies will come up. The only differentiator that a company has is the experience they provide. Because quality, price, make, model, all it can be found online in like the snap of a finger, a push of a button. But if they decide to choose you, you have to provide an experience for them that creates that loyalty and that trust. Otherwise, they can go find someone else that'll do the exact same thing.
Has that changed the way we do business?
I would like to think it does, but the problem is that companies are, in what I'm seeing anyways, they're going far to an extreme with AI. They're going heavily into the bots. And I have to tell you, your customers aren't bots. So you can't serve them with bots.
Well said. Wow, that's powerful.
Your customers are humans. So while I think there is a place for technology to support and make things easier for your employees to be able to pull up, actually, it's amazing because it can help you personalize that experience for your customer because you can have all that information about your customer at your fingertips. It's not a replacement.
Okay.
So I'd like to say that the companies everywhere are shifting the way they do business in order to provide an experience. But the way they're doing it is they're relying on AI. They're relying on technology. And I'm going to say it again because I do think it is a powerful statement. Your customers are not bots.
I think the audience is listening.
They're humans that crave human interaction. Think about how much time we spend behind a computer on a smartphone. If they've walked in and decided to do business with you, that means they want to create a connection. They want that relationship. They want that experience. They don't want service. Service is a transaction. An experience is something that actually shifts something in you. It makes you feel something different. And the only way we're going to get that is if you create real and genuine relationships. And the female consumer has a limbic brain, which is the emotional memory hub of our brain, that is double the size of a man's.
Did not know that.
So when we talk about that shift in emotion, she needs it far more than he does.
Wow.
Double the amount. So I always say to organizations, you need to cast your experience net wide enough to capture her because you won't lose him. But if you cast your experience net just to capture him, you'll lose her. So you have to do yourself a favor and cast it wide enough to capture the world's most influential consumer.
That's so powerful because right now, everything is snap. Everything is under 10 seconds. Everything is swipe left, right. You're on Facebook Marketplace. You're shopping online. And these companies think, oh, we don't need to do human experience. Everything's digital. Well, let's go AI. Let's AI everything.
Yeah.
And it's like,
so sad.
And it's changing commerce.
Sorry, I'm interrupting you, but I was speaking at a conference, Customer Contact Week out in Austin, Texas in January. And I had a standing room only room, like pouring out. And I was talking about the 5 steps to a 5-star experience. So they all come in, I'm greeting them, I'm getting their names, I'm shaking their hands, they're feeling good. They sit down and I say, okay, brace yourself. And they're all looking. I'm like, I'm not going to talk about AI. And the whole room erupted into laughter and like cheers.
No way.
Because they're like, oh my goodness, thank you. I was rated the best session that week.
Because you didn't talk about AI.
Yep.
They want that human connection.
Yes. And they're like, so we're at a customer experience conference. And this is the first time I've received an experience.
That's telling.
It's because I treated them like humans. I shook their hand. I got to know their name. I smiled at them. I interacted. I asked questions. We are not doing business with bots.
Do you see a trend that corporations are trying to take to make more profit?
Oh, yeah, of course.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean, they use COVID as an excuse, and now they have AI, but it's going to bite them in the rear end.
I had a friend of mine, son, is a recruiter for a certain company in Seattle.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an engineering position for that company. They had over 50,000 applicants in the Seattle area, engineers applying for one position. Those 50,000 applicants were former engineers that got replaced by AI.
Yeah. I'm
like, holy smokes. And then it dawned on me what is taking place in corporate America. Not in corporate America, globally.
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of unemployed folks here soon because these engineers have been building these bots and these robots or whatever they've been building.
Built themselves out of a job.
Yeah, pretty much. And I'm like, what is that going to do to our economy?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So we're empowering these robots the engineers are building to take their positions. And they're going to be, AI is going to be running all the software system analytics. And I'm like, wow, it hit me a couple weeks ago. I'm like, holy smokes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a place for AI. Don't get me wrong. There's a place for technology. I use it. It makes it super more efficient, super easy to do things online. But it doesn't replace a human. Like, I won't use it for my social content. Like, you can tell from a million miles away when it's a chat GPT caption.
You know what, Katie, you said something so critical right there. Because my podcast producer, Chris Decker over at Creator Spark, he's my podcast producer. He did a post on LinkedIn addressing what you just said. And he says, oh, you're thinking you're going to use AI and make podcasts? Really?
Yeah.
Don't you think the algorithms on LinkedIn know it's AI?
They do, actually. And Instagram and Facebook are shutting down. Like, it's not getting the same. If you had engagement, they're pushing the algorithms, pushing it down. They want real content.
Wow. So if you think you have a cheat code using AI to do curation, it's not going to work.
No, I mean, it might for a little bit. And it does make it easy. Don't get me wrong. It makes it easier. But what happened to originality? What happened to reading and quoting people and learning and growing and then coming up with your own ideas?
You're making us lazier.
Oh, so much lazier.
But I told Chris, my producer, I said, Chris, I think people are going to try it. They're going to experiment with it, and they're going to realize that their viewership's going to drop because LinkedIn and so many other platforms are going to realize it's AI generated, and they're just going to shoot it down.
So again, I'm going to repeat this. Who are your viewers? Are they robots or are they humans?
Ooh, well, that's really good. So yeah, so
who's consuming your content?
Yep.
A robot or a human?
Absolutely. Agreed. That's why I had people say, hey, you need to use AI to do all your stuff. I'm like, no, I'm going to do organically. Pay somebody to post it.
Yeah, well, exactly. Give someone a job that they're losing.
Right. So being the brand expert that you are, Katie, I see so much. I mean, LinkedIn has just exploded. It's Google.
Yeah.
And it's like, holy cow. It's like the feed just go on for hours and hours. I mean, millions and millions of people all around the world are on there. And I think people are trying to cheat, including myself, trying to get our name out there branding, but being a branding expert that you are, and there's so many companies on LinkedIn and different platforms trying to get that attention. What is your advice to those people doing B2B business transactions on LinkedIn? Do they get off their butts, get off of Zoom and go to the conferences and face-to-face interaction again?
Oh, well, 100%. But just give value. Don't sell people.
Value.
Your value will sell you. So
people want to test you. They want to see what.
Yeah, they want to know what you're about. They want to see the consistency. They want to read what they want to read. Eventually, that will lead to sales. But you do need to authentically show up and provide them with content that is of value to them. It's not all about the call to action. It can't be self-serving.
Interesting.
Because again, you're not serving yourself. You're looking for your customer. You're wanting to serve that human. And if you provide that service and you provide the right content, it'd be a no-brainer when that human needs you, when that business needs you, where are they going to go? To you.
So this call to action stuff I see in my email strings from Clubhouse days is garbage.
Well, I think there's a time and a place for it, but so my emails, for example, I do something called the Power Series, and I talk about the power of choice, the power of experience, and the power of her. I sell nothing in my emails.
You sell nothing in your emails?
Nope. I just give information.
Okay. So no hook?
None. Zero. I give free things away. So I give a free ebook. I do quizzes to see if your company is casting your experience net wide enough to capture the female consumer. But I don't sell. I give free 5 steps to a 5-star experience digital course. I give free things away. But no, I don't sell.
Is that the new way of B2B relationships, not sales, or has it always been that way?
I don't know if it's always. No, it's not always been that way.
The buyer just
for me, though, it has been. I'm not one of those speakers that sells from stage. I'm not one of those people that go out and do a webinar and then, oh, by the way, for $199, you can have my coaching.
Sorry, I burst up laughing. I'm not going to name a certain individual on the podcast out of respect to your show, you being the guest. So you made me bust up laughing because I see that person's ad every day.
So I personally don't believe in it. I really believe. So I'm sure you've heard and your listeners have heard of Simon Sinek. Start with the why.
Right.
We buy from emotion. We don't buy from logic. We should all develop that why, why we do what we do, why, a greater purpose beyond the sale. The sale is the what. That always comes, by the way. It's just a longer road, but you end up having more loyal customers that are more bought in to you by doing it this way. But I have 2 whys, and one of them, which has been my why for as long as I can remember, is to inspire people to take positive, actionable change. So in whatever interaction I have with them, I hope I leave them better off for having interacted with me. So I can give them some piece of knowledge, a golden nugget, something that's going to make them better. My new why, with Ladies Take Control, which is a new company that I just launched.
Congratulations. Nice site, by the way.
Thank you. I did that site all by myself.
You did?
Yeah.
Whoa. That's some talent behind the scenes there. I'm like, dang, she must have paid $10,000 for that site.
No, all by myself.
That's
yeah. So my why is to inspire women to find the courage to do hard things during dark times.
During dark times. Wow. That says a lot.
So that is my new mission. And it really is tied into inspiring people to have and find positive, actionable change, but just through courage. Because courage isn't doing things in the absence of fear. Courage is doing it when you're walking through fear.
Amen to that.
With fear.
So true.
And so I want to help women that are silenced, that are feeling completely alone. I want them to know that they have a community to outreach to, and that they can do it scared.
Yeah, I sense there's a lot of people that are kind of feeling hopeless with the global stuff. If you watch too much TV, it's going to scare the crap out of you.
I don't watch.
You're smart.
I refuse.
You have a peace of mind.
Yeah, I refuse. We can control what we allow into our world.
True.
And while I believe one person can change the world because I'm out to change the world for women, right. I know that I'm not out to change the world politically, so I shut it out.
Garbage out.
Yeah.
Don't need the noise.
Positivity in,
right.
Positivity out. I don't want to, I'm very protective of that energy radius I have around me.
So what is your advice to people, to this, like the women out there, for example, that are just struggling? They feel hopeless listening to the podcast, or the guys, this is an election year, and, I have circles of friends that are left and right. And your advice is shut it out. Just focus on what you control in your own world.
Yeah. Find purpose in the things you can control.
Fair enough. Easy enough.
Okay. It's not easy. Let's be real. It's a muscle you have to flex every single day. Like I was telling you earlier before we got on, what I had to go through today.
Oof.
I have two choices. I can woe is me and look at all the obstacles and just be like, okay, I give up. Like I'm done.
Right.
Or I can choose to say, and I have this mantra that I say all the time, is only good things can come from the situation.
That's true. That is true.
But either way, it's a choice.
It is a choice.
And that power of that choice and the outcome of your life sits with you.
Yeah, it seems like you have a very scientific way of looking at things. Do you love science?
Well, yeah, I try to keep it very... when you're emotional, it's very easy to get swept away. I mean, so when you get hijacked, your limbic brain, which is your, the logical side of the logical prefrontal cortex, right? The limbic brain being your emotional brain, the prefrontal cortex being your logical brain, it shuts down. And you can't make rational decisions when you're emotionally hijacked.
Is your flight or fight mode?
Fight or flight or freeze or fawn, all the things, all the F's. Yes.
Fight or flight.
Yeah. So I try to look at things very logically, even in highly emotional times. And if I can't look at logically, then I leave it alone and I walk away. I'll vent, I'll walk it, I'll leave it. And then I go back to it when I have a little bit more ability to be logical.
If I remember correctly, in psychology, you have many different reactions when you're going through stress. You have anger, sad, and then you have this cycle. And I've always learned, if you have to make a big decision, never make a big decision under duress.
Never.
Give it 24 hours. You'll probably have a different way of looking at it a day later.
Without a doubt. A lot of the times when you do make those rash decisions, it is out of emotion, and you end up regretting them. Or you do something that you shouldn't have that'll put you in hot water.
I can see that. what's your advice? Because you're going through something pretty serious right now.
Yeah, I mean, I can let your listeners know too. I am a survivor of domestic abuse.
Right. Okay.
I am going through it right now. So if you want to learn my story, just hop onto the Ladies Take Control podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. And it's difficult. It's dark. It's dim. It's a challenge every single day to be positive, to keep walking forward, squaring my shoulders. I'm scared out of my wit's end, and I still have to keep moving forward. I mean, just to give your audience an idea.
Sure.
He froze my accounts, my credit card. He left me with nothing, and I legitimately have invested in his businesses.
Businesses? Several.
And
wow.
Well, I invested in one business, just to be clear, but I invested time in businesses. I gave up my career. I invested money in one business, and he told me to go sell my body for groceries.
Wow.
I, again, gave up my career. If it wasn't for my sister and my brother-in-law, I would not have food on the table.
Holy smokes.
He is now cooking the books to show repayment. So I have to, the things I'm going through.
Wow.
Yet this man is also telling me that he never abused me.
Narcissistic?
Oh, on the worst level.
How did I guess?
On the worst level.
And you're
gaslighting is insane.
And you're going through this right now?
Yeah, right now. I'm deep in it.
Holy, wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Thanks for being vulnerable.
Thank you for being open to hearing it. So that brings me to my mission of inspiring women to find the courage to do hard things. Mm-hmm. I refuse to stay silent because 77% of women who are in domestically abusive relationships or have experienced intimate partner violence stay silent. 77%. And 1 in 3 women are going through what I went through, are going through what I'm going through. We have 3.95 billion women in the world. That's 1.31 billion women in the situation right now.
That's a lot of pain.
Yeah, it is. And every 9 seconds,
oof,
a woman is physically assaulted by an intimate partner. Every 9 seconds. So I don't know how long we've been on this podcast, 28 minutes. How many women have been physically assaulted?
Wow.
Right? I'm going to totally take out the calculator right now. 187 women in the last 28 minutes.
Oof. A lot of pain, a lot of scars, a lot of PTSD.
That's why I'm speaking up.